Pirates and the Seamonster by Freddie and Robin Seruyygg, and Mum, illustrated by Freddie Seruyygg and a tiny bit by Mum. Once upon a time there were some circus pirates who were just little girls and boys. A crab called Snip Snap saw the pirates who were scared and put it in the water.
Can we see the picture?
The crab's big brother, Dip Dap, snapped the pirates, he was a lobster, because he was angry, and his brother was his best friend. There you can see Snip Snap and Dip Dap. A shark ate Snip Snap, who cried, "No!" But Dip Dap shouted, "Don't do that to my friend!" And he tickled the shark. The shark sneezed. This is a real sneeze coming. That's gone. And out came Snip Snap. Let's go.
I always get that.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, said Snip Snap. That's chapter 1. Chapter 2. Oh. Suddenly, a water fairy princess. Look how beautiful she is. Beautiful. Looks a bit like Katie. Appeared in a flash of glitter and a shower of stars. Her name was Princess Po, and she was a baddie princess who could magic herself into a shark. She had decided to eat Snip Snap because she was sick of him snapping at her all the time. After Snip Snap had escaped Princess Po... Start again. After Snip Snap had escaped, Princess Po was so angry that fire came out of her hands and mouth, and this always happens when she gets angry. Whenever crabs swim near the fire, they turn into bad princesses who can put good princesses into jail. Remember that Princess Po is magic in many ways, and breathing out fire makes her turn into sand. Now she could be camouflaged from the crabs. Wow. Chapter 3. Nearby, the circus pirates were sailing past, shouting for the Seamonster, and they shouted so loudly that the ship's flag fell down into the water with a splash. An enormous red wave splashed over the flag and the ship. The ship sank, but luckily all the pirates had deep sea divers' outfits. And again, out of nowhere, Princess Po appeared and turned all the pirates into crabs. Their faces turned naughty, and their snippety snapped in a flash of magic. The other fish exclaimed, "Ah, don't be a crab!" But the crabs just laughed a deep laugh. The sea monster, called Ree-dee-dee-dee, exclaimed, "Gag-a-go!" and walked into seaplane. And there's the ship, and the pirates being turned into crabs. Chapter 4. Ree-dee-dee-dee was red, green, purple and black, and lots of other colours, because he had walked through a giant rainbow. As Ree-dee-dee-dee entered the seaplane, the passengers screamed in despair. They touched Ree-dee-dee-dee to check whether he was a gooseberry, which is a type of robot sea monster, which he was. The passengers were happy to see little dogs coming out of his mouth, but suddenly they bit the passengers' fingers with a crunch. One night, the passengers who had been bitten found they could breathe underwater. Then they grew tails and their faces changed. They had become seahorses. Like selkies, they could live underwater, but also as humans on land. As for Ree-dee-dee-dee, he transformed into an under-the-sea tram, but his shiny outside became rusty in the water. Luckily, he survived being squashed by a big train, and as he was being squashed, he happily said, "Oh, I didn't mean that." Chapter 5, the last chapter. And there's a picture. It had been a very tricky time for everyone, but guess what? The circus pirates, named Josh, Gag-a-goo-goo, William and Bob Milk, and the seahorses joined together to make an underwater circus, which they named the Ribbon and String Circus. Even Princess Po turned good by accidentally poisoning herself and joined in. Their circus tricks included doing 50 million exercises on a high metal wire, amazing acrobatics, trampolining, holding their breath for 20 million hours, and the best trick of all, when Princess Po fitted a giant whale in a teeny tiny bag, a bag 100 times smaller than a hair. Snip Snap and Dip Dap were part of the theatre too, and were very happy because they got a toy train and a Boba Fett toy for their birthdays. They would have all lived happily ever after, but after one show had finished, a creature appeared. His tongue was made of bugs, and he was covered in wolf skin. His name was Bug Pound. He laughed an evil laugh, and shouted, "I have an army of deadly creatures and one drop of liquid which can poison a whole ocean." Ha 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 ha. The end. You can find out more about Bug Pound in our next book, Bug Pound and the Deadly Forces. That's so cool. Yeah. That is so cool. I can't wait to see the next book.